All right, welcome, Sam. Thank you so much for being here and talking to our 5,000 plus audience.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, knowing that your social activism began after witnessing the social injustices over at Villanova University, how did you deal with these issues?
Well, I think the honest truth is that for a long time I tried to hide from them, right? It was something that I was not only seeing on campus at large, but it was something that I was personally experiencing. So I was trying to figure out how the hell I was going to go to class and make my grades and all that stuff. And there reached sort of a natural breaking point where I said, there's no way that I'm the only person who feels like this. And that's when I got involved. I got involved on the social side. I got involved on the administrative side. And there was sort of an effort of like going to different people and saying like, hey, am I crazy? Am I the only one who sees what's going on? And eventually I found the people who said, welcome, join the team.
So clearly there were some uncomfortable conversations along the way. So how does it feel to lean into one of these conversations about either an uncomfortable subject or something you don't know much about?
So I think it's easy to talk about, oh, we want to lean into discomfort and we need to engage in issues that we're not familiar with. But it's difficult, it's messy. And what I focus on is listening. If you come from a place of, this is my position and I'm going to argue with you, well then you're not going to get anywhere. And that's sort of this difference between like a dialogue and a discussion, right? And so I think that it takes time, it's messy, and you need to have the kind of patience that is exhausting. So you have to make it sustainable.
So knowing that you work with these social justice programs, what was the most meaningful social justice program for you that you've worked on?
I'm going to give it sort of two answers here.
Absolutely, go for it.
I think some of the most impactful things that I've done, I can't talk about in public, right? These are people's stories that are not mine to tell. There are people and communities where it wouldn't make sense for me to jump in front of a camera and tell their story without them being here to tell it. I sit on a board for an organization called Getting Out and Staying Out in New York, and it works with guys who have been involved in the criminal justice system and are looking to change their lives regardless of how they got involved in criminal justice. And this is an organization that has a recidivism rate that's like 15% when the national average is like 65. And it's a project that I'm able to be a part of as a team where we're able to make real, tangible, trackable, data-driven change in communities that matter and in communities that have been traditionally ignored. And that's a point of real pride that I'm able to use my experience and my platform and my privilege in that direct way.
As BBYO is a teen-focused organization, and many of us are headed off to college in the upcoming years, what's your best advice for us to knowing that we'll see these social injustices in the next years?
I think there's a couple things. First, I think you need to make it sustainable, right? So you can have all the passion in the world, but if you burn out and you flunk out of school, well, what good are you to the community that you were trying to serve? So I think there's an element of sustainability. I think another component is you have to be okay with the fact that you are not able to do everything. But that is never an excuse to do nothing. And that's a difficult thing to reckon with, and it takes time. And I think the third thing is that being wrong and making mistakes, as we've talked about at this conference already, are going to happen. And if you learn from that, then it will not have been in vain. But this attitude that is starting to become more pervasive in the culture that we are expected to be perfect is unreasonable and destructive. So you are going to be your best self when you mess up, and you then take that lesson and not only learn from it yourself, but you communicate that to all your friends and all your circles so they don't have to reinvent that wheel. And that is how we keep the progress moving forward.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.